loose. He's running. He's like, I'm gonna go get in my hammock. It's not a hammock, it's a bug screen, and you keep wrecking it. Silly cat.
Yeah, we just let the line out and yeah. We're dropping our anchor at Meeks Patch. And when it gets to 25, well, the first yellow line, we stop it. Which every yellow line is 25 feet. The water is very beautiful here. We just got to the beach and we are, well, I think we're gonna start exploring the beach now and we're gonna walk Toby. Let's see what Toby's doing. Hey girl, it's good to see you, Toby. What you doing? So they have a nice setup, a picnic setup, and kayakers can come here.
Our first stop at the Royal Island was Meeks Patch. It's a few small islets, and somebody's established pigs there with a wild turkey to emulate some of the other places in the Bahamas. We purposely picked an anchorage away from the tourist boats and avoided the crowd. Another great soft white sand beach in the Bahamas though, and we recommend stopping.
Right now, we are getting ready to go to Spanish Wells, and we're gonna drop anchor there, stay there tonight, and do something epic tomorrow. And
after Meeks, we motored a couple of miles to the anchorage outside of Spanish Wells, and we dinged into town after dinner. We were supposed to meet Sailboat Story for ice cream ashore, but we were late to the party. We met them at the dock and made arrangements to have lunch the next day. So this is the only boat yard I've ever seen where they have to pull the street up to get your boat up. R&B boat yard right next to Pinder's Supermarket.
quiet look. Look up our monster head. Come on, bro, look at that cool fish. He's supposed to be on the camera.
Everybody comes around on golf carts. So right now we're headed to go to Buddha's or Buddha's, not quite sure of the pronunciation, but apparently they have a great hamburger, so we're going to check that out and have another meal with Sailboat Story because they're awesome. We caught up with Sailboat Story at Spanish Wells Hardware and Marine. We walked the seawall on our way to Buddha's until we saw some fish traps where people were storing fish for later use.
Yeah, there's dead mountains in there. I don't see the big ones.
Does your GoPro go in the water?
It does.
Shove it down there.
It's right there. Oh, there it is.
Right down there.
Fish wire.
What do y'all want? You know, what kind of fish y'all want?
Yeah.
He literally left, came back, held up the fish, showed it to us, and went and top fixed it.
found some Clemson fans at Buddha's Snack Shack. Never fails. Toby and Molly bonded with a game of coconut fetch. The next day, Sailboat Story was headed to the Abbey Coast, but it was great catching up with him. Later that evening, we decided to walk the Praise Weimaraners on our search for ice cream. Really, every night that we were in Spanish Wells, we'd walk around and wind up at Papa Scoop's. So we're on a monthly tour of the Bahamas, Spanish Wells. We're going to get our ice cream, and we're taking the Praise dogs, the Weimaraners, with us. And to break things up, we decided to go the opposite way around the island, just to see what's out here. You want to try to catch a snapper on a fishing rod? You know, it's impossible to catch a snapper here. Impossible. No one's ever done it.
You could be the first.
25 bucks a night.
How much?
25 bucks a night. It's a bandit. Right. We're still walking. Still haven't made it to the ice cream shop yet. To just walk on the beach till we get to the street. There are only a couple of main roads on Spanish Wells, and they can be quite busy. And to stay safe, we decided we would walk the beach instead of staying on that road. The next morning, we decided to move our boat to a marina in Spanish Wells. This would make it easier for us to do laundry, for Wyatt to take standardized testing, and for me to track down my friend Mark somewhere on Spanish Wells. Okay, we are finally gonna go see Mark Lanford. We've been trying all day. We had testing to do, and we had to get the boat moved to the marina and started some laundry at the marina, so now we're good to go. On the way for us to find Mark, we ran into the man that started the pigs on Meeks Patch. That's him in the golf cart. He stops because he sees that I've got a cell phone gimbal, and he had just recently got one like it and needed some instruction on how to use it. James Dunham. We spent the next half hour with him explaining how to use the gimbal, and then he helped us track down Mark. In fact, he took us right to the beach where Mark was teaching kite surfing that day.
Teaching people to kite surf. Teaching people to kite. Yes. Yes. Good deal.
Those are little jellyfish, aren't they? They are.
They sting.
I don't know. I haven't been stung. Thank God. Good to see you, man. So how long have you been trying to get
Mark had to finish teaching his lessons, but while he was doing that, he let us borrow his golf cart.
Man, this thing is tough.
I bet it's taking a long time. I bet it's taking a while for him to get a hang of it.
Alright, so me and Wyatt have been driving around in this wonderful golf cart that Mark let us borrow. It's diesel, it's a beast. And now we're watching him wrap up kite surfing lessons.
First gas? I just wanted to. I was working.
Now we're walking in town,
I was working.
and in Spanish Wells, they have a thing called Swim with the Pigs, and this is where you can sign up to do that. This building, this pink and green building right here, that's the place.
I brought it over here. It cost me like.
After we all had a chance to clean up, and later that evening, we met for dinner at the marina. Great catching up with Mark and his new girlfriend, as well as catching up with new friends, Jim and Pam Smith on Lula from Charleston, South Carolina.
I'm eating.
Fish tacos, tuna, in fact, fish tacos
I've had 3.
for dinner tonight.
Hey, do you remember the name of the place that we ate dinner at in Key Largo?
Sundowner.
Sundowner, man. That was your. My goodness. The
And Papa Scoops. Are you guys going to Papa Scoops? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta go out to the point out there and get all that yucky stuff.
Right now we're walking the Papa Scoops, and it's right here, so I guess we're not really walking right now. But
We were leaving Spanish Wells the next day, so it was time to provision. Most of the stores we encounter in the Bahamas are quite small, so it was great to find something of the size of food fare on Spanish Wells. Now that doesn't mean it's any cheaper, and we have found most stores and most groceries in the Bahamas are sometimes 2 times as expensive as in the United States. See what it's gonna be. So we're at the Spanish Wells Yacht Haven Resort and Marina, and we're getting ready to head out. We're gonna run a couple of errands here in town, and then we're gonna shove off and hopefully make it down to a current cut before the tide is against us, and we get through it. What are you looking for? You can't find the tackle box. Did you look up in your V-berth? Huh. Did you look in the V-berth? Okay. I got the look, y'all. Okay, we're hanging out, trying to go through current cut. We're just waiting for the tide to come up just a little bit, get closer to high tide so that the current is less as we go through the cut. And we also have a sailboat coming out of current cut, so we want to see what they experienced going through. But it should be behind us when we go through, and should be an easy ride.